Hello guys, and welcome to Photoshop 101. I will do a quick overview on Photoshop Creative Cloud version. I will go over the basic menu options found at the top, left, and right hand side. Of course, if I miss anything or want to learn more, you can always comment below. So let's start with the File menu. So let's say you want to start a new document where you want to either draw or place an image. You would go to File, New, and this will bring a new document window where you can name your file. So for example, image 101. Now here you can pick the size of the canvas you want to use. If you want to use pixels, it also gives you the option for inches, etc. So most common one would be pixels. So let's say you want to do an 800 by 800. You would simply type in your parameters and also choose your resolution. Remember, 72 for web and 300 for print. So let's say we want a web image, will be 72 resolutions. You'll press OK, and your new document will be created. As well, you can see on your right hand side will be the new layer, which is the background layer. If you want to open an existing document or image, you would go to File, Open, and pick the document you want to open. This will open a new tab, allowing you to do any image manipulation you want to do. And the rest of the file menu is very self-explanatory. Very basic functions to close, save for web. But I do want to talk about your place option. The place option is if you want to, let's say, import an image into your existing document. For example, if you want to choose a simple image that you want to place over your existing canvas, you would do like so. This will generate a new layer, as you can see on your right hand side. You can adjust the size, colors, etc. on this canvas, which would be your second layer. Edit menu. It's very basic as well. This is where you would do the undo or redo functions. Step backwards is also an undo option that will let you go back a few steps. As you can see, there's a basic cut, copy and paste, clear. I do want to talk about the transform. This little window here, you probably use more commonly. Transform will be where you want to manipulate your image size, either by distorting it, its perspective, warp it, skew it, rotate it, etc. Image as well is very self-explanatory as far as what it can do. This is the menu where you're going to go to adjust all the color settings. For example, if you want to change the mode you're working on, if you want to go to grayscale or just RGB or CMYK, which is your alternative to RGB. Adjustments will go, you'll go to change your brightness, levels, curves, change your hue and saturation, or any photo filters that Photoshop has pre-installed. Now I do want to talk about image size versus canvas size. There is a difference. Image size will change the size of an individual layer or image that you have on your canvas, opposed to canvas size will be a change in your presetted image size. I know it's a little confusing, but as you saw in the beginning of the menu when I said I wanted an 800 by 800, canvas size will change that size to whichever size you want to change. So again, we were in pixels. So I said I don't want the 800 by 800, I wanted 1000 by 800. This will allow me to change. Sorry, that was off the menu, off the window. This will change your image or canvas size. Sorry. And now you can add to it or change however you want the image to look like. And the rest of the top menus also very self-explanatory as you go down the left or down to the right. Your type is you'll use this when you have a layer type in your image. Select. You can reselect, select, inverse the selections you have done on your image. Now filters are very extensive menu. There's a lot you can do with this menu. There is a lot of effects you can do with your images, and each menu down here in the middle will have even more options for what kind of blurs, for example, you want to use, or surface blur, etc. You can also add by going online. 3D. This option is when you're working in your 3D workspace. This will allow you to have more manipulation. Of course, your view is your view options. Windows, what kind of windows you want to open. Most of the ones you're going to use are going to be open, but if you want something that you can't see, I would just go to this window drop down menu and select whichever you want to see. So let's say you want to see your brushes. This will open up the extensive menu you have for brushes. Of course, there's always your help menu you can type in if you have any questions. And now I'll go over very briefly on the left side menu options that you have. So here you have your move tool. This will allow you to move whichever layer you have selected, of course. So once you have selected a layer, you can move it around. You can also transform it. When it has the arrow in the bottom right corner, that means there is an alternative menu option. So when you move down to the rectangular marquee tool, you can press down on it, and this will give you different options as well. So you'll have your rectangular, elliptical, single row, and single column marquee tool as well. Your lasso tool, your quick selection. Quick selection is one I use a lot. Quick selection tool will allow you to select a large area at a time, especially if they're in the same color range. This will be very beneficial and helpful. The Magic Wand tool is one you have to be careful with. Magic tool works very good actually. It's just you have to be careful on what you select it on. So let's say I wanted something with the yellow tints, it'll select most of the yellow tints according to that pixel. I wanted the orange tints, it'll select to that certain color pixel that I picked on. Next is your crop, which you're very familiar with. I don't use much of the others, perspective crop tools. Your slice tool and slice select tool is one you'll use when you're working with web pages to make certain images when you export to Dreamweaver. Of course, you have your eyedropper, which is very helpful to pick what color you want. You have the healing brush, the brush tool, you can pick your brushes, clone stamp, history brush tool, the eraser, grading tool, pressure has the paint bucket tool as well. Your smudge tool, dodge tool, pen tool, type, path selection, line, which is where you can find all different shapes as well, or you can make a custom shape. Your hand tool, which is I'm going to it's already close enough. Usually we'll move it closer to you, and of course zoom. And the right hand side has a couple of useful shortcuts that you can find. So you'll see here you have the color swatches palette, which will allow you to hover over certain colors available to you. But you can also change the swatches pressing down on this drop down menu, which I don't have the full window open for y'all, but if you press on this, you can see the drop down. You can see the color levels as well. And this is kind of a shortcut to the image drop down menu you have down on the top menu. So you can have the brightness, curves, and color balance. This is kind of like a shortcut, which is very helpful. And you'll also see your layers. I'm not sure what I did there, but also you can see your channels, which is your primary colors. And also very interesting drop-down menu is when you have a layer selected, you can have a normal layer, but there's also different types of layers. I won't go into details in this tutorial, but you know, overlays, it'll put it on top of the current layer, which is very hard to explain in this image, but each layer is different. Every type of layer is different effects per se. The bottom of the right hand side also has shortcuts, so you can link layers, add layer styles, you can add different layers, you can create a new layer, create a new group, and also delete. Well, this is it for Photoshop 101. I know it's very brief, a lot to take in because there's a lot of menus. But once you dive yourself in and play around with all different effects and menus, you'll get a lot more comfortable. Don't be afraid to press any buttons. There's always the undo or step backwards function, which will allow you to fix any mistakes you didn't want to do. But, you know, if you have any questions on this tutorial or would like to know more about something in specific, feel free to comment below. Until next time.